green giant entrees. The taste of
Green Belt, United Kingdom. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. For other uses, see Green Belt, disambiguation. Designated areas of Green Belt in England. The Metropolitan Green Belt outlined in red. In British town planning, the Green Belt is a policy for controlling urban growth.
The
term, coined by Octavia Hill in 1875, 1-2, refers to a ring of countryside where urbanization will be resisted for the foreseeable future, maintaining an area where agriculture, forestry and outdoor leisure can be expected to prevail. The fundamental aim of Green Belt policy is to prevent urban sprawl by keeping land permanently open, and consequently the most important attribute of green belts is their openness. The Metropolitan Green Belt around London was first proposed by the Greater London Regional Planning Committee in 1935. The Town and Country Planning Act 1947 then allowed local authorities to include green belt proposals in their development plans. In 1955, Minister of Housing Duncan Sandys encouraged local authorities around the country to consider protecting land around their towns and cities by the formal designation of clearly defined green belts. 3-4.
Of course!
Green Belt policy has been criticized for reducing the amount of land available for building and therefore pushing up house prices, as 70% of the cost of building new houses is the purchase of the land, up from 25% in the late 1950s. 5. Contents: 1 England and Wales.
Round 1.
1.1 England.
Fight!
1.2 Wales. 2 Northern Ireland. 3 Scotland. 4 History. 5 Criticism. 5.1 Environmental. 5.2 Effect on house prices. 6 Related concepts. 7 See also. 8 References. 9 External links. England and Wales, edit. The government formally set out its policies and principles towards green belts in England and Wales in Planning Policy Guidance Note 2. Green belts. 6. But this planning guidance was superseded by the National Planning Policy Framework 7 NPPF in March 2012. Planning authorities are strongly urged to follow the NPPF's detailed advice when considering whether to permit additional development in the green belt. In the green belt there is a general presumption against inappropriate development, unless very special circumstances can be demonstrated to show that the benefits of the development will outweigh the harm caused to the green belt. The NPPF sets out what would constitute appropriate development in the green belt. According to the NPPF, there are 5 stated purposes of including land within the green belt. To check the unrestricted sprawl of large built-up areas. To prevent neighboring towns from merging into one another. To assist in safeguarding the countryside from encroachment. To preserve the setting and special character of historic towns. To assist in urban regeneration by encouraging the recycling of derelict and other urban land. Once an area of land has been defined as green belt, the stated opportunities and benefits include providing opportunities for access to the open countryside for the urban population, providing opportunities for outdoor sport and outdoor recreation near urban areas, the retention of attractive landscapes and the enhancement of landscapes near to where people live, improvement of damaged and derelict land around towns, the securing of nature conservation interests, the retention of land in agricultural, forestry and related uses. England, edit. The area designated as Green Belt land in England, as at the 31st of March 2010, was estimated at 1,639,560 hectares, about 13% of the land area. 8. Green Belt, MHCLG, 9. Green Belt, CPRE, 10. Urban Core. History, edit. This section needs additional citations for verification. Please. The term emerged from continental Europe, where broad boulevards were increasingly used to separate new development from the center of historic towns, most notably the Ringstrasse in Vienna. Various proposals were put forward from 1890 onwards, but the first to garner widespread support was put forward by the London Society in its Development Plan of Greater London, 1919. Alongside the CPRE, they lobbied for a continuous belt of up to 2 miles wide, to prevent urban sprawl, beyond which new development could occur. Implementation of the notion dated from Herbert Morrison's 1934 leadership of the London County Council. It was first formally proposed by the Greater London Regional Planning Committee in 1935 to provide a reserve supply of public open spaces and of recreational areas, and to establish a green belt, or girdle of open space. It was again included in an advisory Greater London plan prepared by Patrick Abercrombie in 1944, which sought a belt of up to 6 miles wide. However, it was some 14 years before the elected local authorities responsible for the area around London had all defined the area on scaled maps, with some precision, encouraged by Duncan Sandys to designate a belt of some 7 to 10 miles wide. The motives for a green belt around London were not just environmental. Frank Pick, the CEO of the London Passenger Transport Board, made an economic case. He believed that London Underground had a finite potential capacity, which would be breached by the growth of the city's population and overall physical size. Pick presented this case to the Barlow Commission, Royal Commission on the Geographical Distribution of the Industrial Population, arguing that if London's radius grew beyond 12 to 15 miles, the capital's commuter infrastructure could not cope in financial or capacity terms, to the detriment of city's overall economy.
So this is the
He instead
CP
made the case for a number of
HOBKIRK
economically
book.
self-sufficient new towns
is what the
beyond a
original
new
looks
green
like.
belt. 23. New provisions for compensation in the Town and Country Planning Act 1947 allowed local authorities around the country to
1800s.
incorporate green belt proposals in their first development plans.
Huddersfield,
The
its
codification
history
of green
and
belt
natural
policy
history.
and its extension to
A
areas
descriptive,
other than London came with the historic circular
historical, geological,
42/55
botanical, and
inviting local
zoological
planning authorities to
sketch of a
consider the
town and
establishment of
neighbourhood.
green belts.
Chas
This
CP
decision was made in tandem
HOBKIRK,
with the 1946 New
1859.
Towns Act, which sought to
Illustrated
depopulate
with
urban
engravings on
centres
wood.
in the southeast of England
Lord
and
and
accommodate
Lock,
people
Fleet
in new
Street.
settlements elsewhere. Green belt could therefore be designated
this
by local
copy-
authorities without
Unless
worry
we
that it would come into
suppose it
conflict
to have
with
been
pressure from
the burial
population
place
growth.
of the warriors slain in some
As the
great
outward
battle,
growth of London was seen to
this
be
is
firmly
not,
repressed,
after all, very unlikely,
residents
as there have been
owning
records
properties
showing
further
that
from the
the most
built-up
fierce
area
and
also
bloody war
campaigned
was
for this policy of
waged in
urban
this
restraint,
neighbourhood.
partly to safeguard their
Its
own
prince,
investments,
Edwin,
but often invoking
in
an idealized
repelling
scenic or
incursions
rustic
of
argument, which laid the
Cedarwall
blame
and
for most
Britain
social
and
ills
Pendle
upon
and
urban
Mercian.
influences.
Again, it
In
may have some connection with,
for
although
example,
it
the
scarcely
government
could have been
decided
the
to
site
extend
of
the metropolitan
small
green
Roman
belt
town,
northwards to
mentioned
include
by
almost
Dr.
all of
Richardson
Hertfordshire.
as near Kirkheaton.
The
Yet,
metropolitan
we must
green belt
confess
now
there
covers
seems to be
parts of
little
68
to
different
favour such an
districts or
opinion.
boroughs.
Then again,
Since
how it came to
1955,
be
London's
planted
green
with
belt
trees
has
on
extended
both sides,
significantly,
only whilst the
stretching
top is
some
perfectly bare
35
of
miles
them,
out in places.
is quite an
London's
anomaly.
green
Well, you
belt
could
now
cut them down
covers
and
an
measure how many
area
rings
of
they've got in them, unless they just keep growing and dying and growing and dying.
an
And there
area
is a mystery
broadly
about
3 times
its
larger
origin and
than that of
purpose,
London
which we
itself.
should only be glad
The London
to
Society began debate about the city's green belt in
see cleared
2014
away.
with publications
But
of a
now, while
report
you're here,
entitled Green
just
Sprawl.
indulge in a little
24,
digression from a
25,
straightforward road and
26
take
other
a stroll
organisations,
along the
including
banks
the
of
Planning
this
Officer
small
Society,
rivulet as far as the
27
bridge.
have since
Copy that
responded with
someone's
specific calls for review and
provided for me
proposals
from
to
one of
balance
Facebook
land release
groups.
with environmental protection.
Author's copy,
28,
May the 1st,
29,
1859.
30. In 2016, the London Society and the All-Party Parliamentary Group,
This is
APPG,
funny.
for London's
Corrie
planning
Gender.
and built environment published plans for a
Makes me
green
think of
web to
Coronation
replace.
Street.
The green belt in
I've
some
actually got the
locations.
meaning.
31.
I had the meaning of
ambition
corrigenda up
is to
somewhere,
create a
actually.
multifunctional green
It means to
infrastructure
correct,
landscape
basically, or
in
put
which
something
new build
right.
and publicly accessible natural space sat side by side.
author's copy. This was £35.
Research
The
undertaken
second
by the
edition
London
now on
School
eBay
of
is
Economics in
£35. But I think the
2016,
originals,
33,
first edition is going for
suggests that
£85.
by
But if this is the author's actual
1979,
copy his
the
own,
area
signed,
covered
then it
by
might
green
probably
belt
worth a
in
few hundred
England
quid.
comprised 721,500 hectares, and by 1993, this
can't
had been
read all
extended
that.
to
I can read some of it.
1,652,310 hectares.
Now this is just a little bit
34.
about
Criticism, edit.
in the third
Several
in
academics,
the
policy
33rd
groups
Henry
and
VIII.
town planning
There was a
organizations
suit
in recent years
between
have criticized
the
the
William
idea
Ramsden
and
plaintiff
implementation of
and
green
Thomas
belts in the
Hay and John
UK.
Armitage.
Green belt
Not spelled
policy
Armitage,
has
it's
been
spelled with a
attacked as
H.
too rigid in the face of
And
new
the matter in
urban
dispute
and
being the
environmental
claim of a
challenges,
suit
principally the lack of
and
housing
sought
available
to the
in many
King's
cities in the UK.
watermill,
The policy
corn
has been
mill and
criticised for
filling mill
reducing the
in
amount of
Woodfield,
land available
Mills,
for building and
Curran
therefore
Water,
pushing up house prices,
Almondsbury,
as 70% of the cost of building new
spelled
houses
Almondsbury.
is the purchase
We've
of
done
the
a whole
land,
video on
up from
arms and
25%
giving
in the
arms
late
and the meanings of
1950s.
arms.
35. It has also been
How long
claimed that
it's
areas of green belt can
continued
be of
in the
unremarkable
Burton
environmental
family
quality
is
and may not
not
be well
known,
managed or
but
provide the
by
recreational
indenture bearing
opportunities
date
originally
12th of June
envisaged.
1573, John Byron Esquire sold the manor of Huddersfield to Sir
The
Gilbert
Town and
Gerard.
Country Planning Association,
When the present
an
family became
organisation
seized of the
heavily
manor, we are
involved
not
in
informed,
initiating
but
the
it's
concept
certain
several
that
decades
John Ramsden
previously,
Esquire of Byron Hill
published
had
a
a
policy
great
statement
or
in
had a grant
2002,
for market at
36,
Huddersfield
which
by
proposed a more
patent,
flexible
dated the
policy
1st of
which would
November
allow the introduction of green wedge
1678.
and strategic gap policies rather
Something
than green belts,
as this looks like
and
in
so
Doctor
permit
Who
the
in it on
expansion
the
of some
series
urban
13 when they got
areas.
that angel village and
In
there's that little
October
guy and the old woman pick up
2007,
the phone box
Sir
and ring the
Martin
police and then
Doughty,
she stood there and she
then
goes,
chair of
she's
Natural
getting
England,
17,
argued for a
trying to
review
get
of
the
green
date right.
belts, saying, "The time has come for a greener green belt.
23rd Charles II, but we
We
must
need a
return to
21st
dates
century
during
solution to
the
England's
Wars of the
housing
Roses.
needs,
The
which puts in
whole of
place
the
a
district
network
in
of
this
green wedges,
neighbourhood
gaps and corridors,
again became the
linking the
scene of
natural
bloodshed
environment and people."
rape, but
37.
although we find
Similarly,
records
the
of
London
battles fought at
Society
Wakefield,
published a
Pontefract, Leeds and
comprehensive
other
history
places,
of the
little
green
or no
belt,
mention is made
as
of
it
the
emerged
district
in
to
the
which
first
we
part
are
of the
more
20th century,
particularly
in
concerned.
2014.
Again, in the
Authored
time
by
of
the
Charles and
influential
Cromwell,
English urbanist
was the scourge of war
Jonathan
visited upon
Manns,
Yorkshire.
this
The
called
principal
for a move away
manufacturing
from a
towns of the
simplistic
district
and naive idea that
sided with the
countryside is a sacrosanct
parliamentarians.
patchwork of medieval hedgerows and towards an
Bradford seems to
empirically
have
informed
been
position, which once more
most.
recognises housing as a need to be met in
So this is
locations with
to do with
appropriate
Cromwell
environmental
because
capacity.
one of
24.
Ramsden's
Effect on house prices.
Ancestors. The Ramsden who was involved in the Victoria Jubilee Tower getting built, one of his ancestors obviously was helping Huddersfield, sided with the parliamentarians, so they would have been happy about that because they were in opposition to the royals. So I think that's got something to do with